Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on the timeline. I don't know. I still contend that I think we were hit by a meteor in 2012, and we are in some alternate timeline based on all of the news. I still think that we might have been, you know, actually uh just sucked into an alternate timeline, but that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I am Mo in the deep end, and this is Nightly Newsy News. My furry co-host has not had a very good day. The youngest, most feral did he got into a giant bag of M&Ms that I bought for like $1.88 because they were on clearance. I was able to find the giant M&Ms hiding place, but Mr. Frybird got into about a mouthful, and he threw up everywhere, so he's doing much better. I called the vet, she said if he threw up and he's doing better and not, you know, doing too terribly, that he should be okay, but he's not camera ready right now. Hello, Kim. So, yeah, it's been one of those evenings where I'm just like, "Okay, we're gonna do whatever we can." So, Freiber he is on the mend. He didn't get much, so that's good, and we had to talk to Mr. Young Feral Griffin about how dangerous chocolate was because he didn't realize. Since we have cats who generally stay away from chocolate and don't tend to get into things. And then right after that, after I was cleaning up all the dog M&M apocalypse, the cats decided to knock over an entire thing of hot sauce. So that's been my evening. It's it's just been messes on the floor. But that's momhood. Good evening, Lil Peanut. So we have news, we have a mofessional. It's all good today. So we'll do the news and then we'll do the mofessional because that's how I figured we would do it. First in the news, good bad story, I guess. The 18-year-old suspect charged in with the murder and the deadly random stabbing of a beloved NYC activist was found. So that's at least good that we found who it was. It's terrible that this poor listen, as someone who's lost someone at a young age, I wasn't there when my first husband passed. I can only imagine the grief and just heartache that this young lady is feeling. I can't imagine. The 18-year-old man suspected in the grisly random stabbing death of a beloved New York social justice activist was arrested and charged Thursday as authorities recovered a knife and sweatshirt the perp is believed to have worn during the early morning slaying, cops said. The person of interest, identified as Brandon Dowling, was pictured with tears running down his face as officers escorted him from the 81st precinct Thursday afternoon. The teen, who had handcuffs around his wrists and ankles, was still wearing the same white T-shirt and striped shorts he had been wearing a few hours earlier when the uh, when the arre- when when the was arrested. Guys, copy editors, because I'm reading this. When he was arrested while the cops executed a search warrant at the home on Lafayette Avenue, no ma- no ma- near Malcolm X Boulevard, just down the block from where Ryan Carson, 32, was knifed to death early Monday as his girlfriend watched. Dowling is charged with second-degree murder and criminal weapons possession, police confirmed. Dowling may not did not make any statements to the cops after his arrest and has already enlisted a lawyer, sources said. Police are searching for clothing allegedly worn by the suspect during the caught on camera attack and found both Dowling and his dark champion sweatshirt seen on the video of the attack inside the apartment, sources said. So good evening, Ghostery and Holly Moore. Cops also found a knife in the home and will be working to determine whether it was the murder weapon, sources said. The teen was escorted from the apartment in a squad car by a huddle of officers, a video from CBS News showed. More than a dozen officers descended on the property during the arrest and search, the outlet said. Quote, an assailant has been caught, Carson's father, Ken Carson, wrote on Facebook at 11:30 Thursday morning. More details will follow, he added in a follow-up comment. Quote, I'm on the road escorting Ryan home to Massachusetts right now. I wasn't leaving NYC without him. Friday, October 6th would have been Carson's 32nd birthday, records indicate. This is just so sad. I mean, look, I didn't agree with him politically at all, but or his suit choice. But he was a human being and he deserved to be able to walk the street absolutely safe. Hello, Rabbit. I haven't seen you in a while. Welcome. And Holly Moore and Ghostery. Law enforcement sources previously identified a, quote, mentally disturbed teen as the main person of interest in the murder of Carson, who was attacked near at a B38 bus stop in Bedford Servant. Okay, I don't know. Just before 4 a.m. on Monday, the longtime champion organizer for the New York Public Interest Research Group and his girlfriend were heading home from a wedding on Long Island when the senseless act occurred, police said. Oh, well, you know what? I love lurking. It's kind of what I do on a lot of channels, to be honest. The assailants seemed to target Carson at random, forcing the community activist to stand between the stranger and his girlfriend. I mean, and you wanna talk about real masculinity? That's real masculinity. This man was unarmed, but he stood between his girlfriend and this raised person, knowing that he could very well not make it out of there, but he was gonna protect his girlfriend. So, that's real masculinity. That's real bravery right there, knowing that you have, nothing on you, but you're going to protect the people around you. So this man died a hero on in my books, and he should be remembered as such in my books. And as the head of the Church of Moism, I say yes, hero. The unhinged man can be heard yelling, quote, I'll kill you before the two scuffle, with Carson eventually tumbling over the bus stop bench while the attacker pulls a knife out and stabs him 3 times, according to the cops and the video. Carson lay crumpled on the ground when the assailant turned on his girlfriend and spat on her. An unknown woman, who the police says knows the suspect, then appeared in the corner of the frame and seems to beg the knife-wielding man not to hurt him and repeats what sounds like Brian. Carson died from a stab wound that pierced his heart, officials said. By Wednesday, police said they had identified the alleged perpetrator, but were waiting for a probable cause to make his arrest, NYPD Chief of Detectives Joseph Kenney said during a press conference. Dowling was issued 3 summons in 2022, 2 including disorderly conduct, and was a robbery victim in 2001, sources said. Hi, Kim. He was also cited in an incident report related to a July incident in which his aunt claimed he smashed objects in his girlfriend's apartment following a fight and described him in a 911 call as mentally disturbed, sources said. Police said the alleged attacker may have been fighting with his girlfriend shortly before he began kicking over and damaging mopeds and scooters that were parked on the sidewalk, then turned on Carson, seething, quote, what the F are you looking at? Sources said the teen worked at the high school in Clinton Hill and was known to frequent the area of Commodore Barry Park in Fort Greene. It's unclear if he had a juvenile record, which would be sealed. It was a complete shock to hear about what Dowling did, one neighbor who requested to remain anonymous told the Post a few hours after Dowling's dramatic arrest. I mean, what was he even doing roaming the streets that time of day with a knife? The individual said he lived in the neighborhood all his life. He used to know Dowling's family better. He remembered the accused murderer as, quote, "a good kid." Today, with young kids, they get their stuff from the internet, all these bad influence, they don't wanna hear what we gotta say, they lamented. Quote, "I mean, one day you could be dead close to the person and they're thinking murderous things or got a murderous mind. I mean, that's major." When asked about the history of drug abuse or mental illness, the neighbor said he did not know Dowling or the family well enough to comment. "Hey, this way's up. I think it's morning where you are. So, good morning." Or maybe it's afternoon. I don't know. Everyone's on a different time continuum. Sorry, had to mom. In the next story, sharks are jerks. Watches a great white shark intercepts an angler's huge catch in Australia. Quote, "What a jerk." Audience watching Steven Spielberg's Jaws know a shark is coming by the infamous dun 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 theme song. In reality, these massive sea creatures appear without an entrance song, as an angler in Australia recently learned the hard way. Izzy Sesto was reeling in a massive tuna when a great white shark took a hold of her catch and chomped its tail off, a video posted to her Facebook on October shows. "It's a big white," someone yelled in the video. "There's a great white, so this won't have, sound, but" Oh, well, he is a jerk. So does that mean that she doesn't get to eat all the sushi? I mean, I don't know what you do with the giant fish that you get with one of these fish things. Again, being a naive, Midwest gal, I don't know what you do with these giant fish once you get them into the boat. Like, do you keep them? Do you throw them back? Do you, like, give them to the local sushi restaurant? I have no idea. Do they fillet them downstairs in the middle of the boat thing? Do they freeze them for you and send them home? I'll have to do more research. But, I mean, does she get a discount now that it was half eaten? I mean, I'm always there for a discount, so I'd be like, "Was is this on clearance now?" The video shows Sesto pulling the huge fish aboard with help of other boaters. "I still got it, I still got it," Sesto shouted as the tuna flopped onto the deck of the boat. "Oh, my heart's kind of broken, but pretty cool. I'm happy, but I'm sad, like I don't know what to feel." Sesto is an avid fisher, according to her social media, but despite years of trying, she had yet to catch a barrel, a tuna weighing more than 200 pounds, until her recent catch off of Cape Jaffa, she told Nine News. Quote, "This big great whites come bit half of my tuna off. It's my first tuna. I've been targeting them for years," Sesto said in a video she shared. "What a jerk." After munching off the tuna tail, the great white circled the boat, starting to bite at the boat's motor, the video showed. "That's the most amazing experience of my life," Sesto said in the video. "Coolest video ever," one person commented on Sesto's video. "What a rad experience," another person wrote. "I would have died," a third person said. Cape Jaffa is in southern Australia, about 340 miles west of Melbourne, or I think it's called Melbourne? I don't know. It's it's pronounced many different ways by people that don't have my Midwestern accent. But, yeah, sharks are jerks, and, don't go swimming there. I'm just saying, I wouldn't, but I'm me, so in the next, story, this woman who happened to quote a certain Austrian painter, as one does, Salbert, I don't know why you're not on this stream, um, uh Austrian painter quoting ex-school board member charged after waving a pew-pew at a scared tenant, police, report. A former Colorado school or school board member once quoted Austrian painter on social media was arrested and charged with felony menacing after police said she waved a loaded gun at a man renting a room in her house. Well, that escalated quickly. Ivy Lou, 66, from Colorado Springs, and a former school board member for Colorado's District 49, was arrested on Friday after officers at the Colorado Springs District Police Department were dispatched to her home to investigate a trespassing complaint. When police arrived, Lou told them her tenant was inside and drunk and would not leave, according to an affidavit of probable cause obtained by Law and Crime. When asked if she had a gun, Lou told police she did, the report states. It was a 9 millimeter Sig Sauer P365. She told them it was stowed safely in her purse. She's like, I am strapped. I have one in my purse and one in my bra. Which one would you like? Also, have you seen my social media posts? I have them from this struggling Austrian painter. I'm quite a spicy girl. What in the actual heck? It contained live hollow point round in its chamber. Well, if you're carrying a weapon for self-defense, you generally have one in the chamber. That's kind of how you would carry if you're carrying for self-defense. But the man identified in the records as Andrew said the gun had not stayed in her purse the whole time and told officers he wasn't trespassing. He had been renting one of Lou's rooms and had paid his rent through September 30th. Though the two had argued over whether he still owed her $100. The man told police he returned to the home because he was moving out, came to collect his things. When he arrived and found the front door locked, he came in through the back. While he was packing up, Andrew said he heard Lou enter through the front door and start yelling his name, according to police records. He emerged from his room and stood at the top of the stairs as Lou stood looking up at him, documents said. Quote, Andrew said from the top of the stairs he could see Ivy and saw that she had a handgun pointed at him. Andrew stated he was in fear for his life due to the gun's presence and feared that Ivy pointing a gun at him was especially dangerous as she could fire it on accident, killing him, the police affidavit says. Lou allegedly would not let him finish packing and told her tenant that she was waiting for the police to show up. The officer who intervened with the former or interviewed the former police school board member reported that Lou said she was, quote, giving Andrew breaks on the rent because he was young, and that she thought he had a gambling problem that prevented him from paying the rent in full. They made an agreement that he would move out on September 30th after paying what he owed her, Lou allegedly told the police. They had planned to meet at the property at 1 that day, but Andrew showed up earlier, something she said she was only alerted to when she got the notification on home surveillance camera installed at the property. Quote, Ivy said that Andrew went on or into the back door of the residence and began to get his belongings. Ivy said she went to the residence and entered through the front door. Ivy said when she entered the residence, she could smell alcohol, and she saw Andrew at the top of the stairs directly to the left of the front door. Told me she knew Andrew had guns and rifles, the report states. Police stated they could smell alcohol in Andrew when they interviewed him, but he did not appear to be intoxicated. Lou claimed next that Andrew put his hand into his pocket, motioning as if he was grabbing something, and it prompted her to draw her handgun and hold it at her side, pointing downward, claiming this was done in the event Andrew produced a handgun from his pocket, reports state. Andrew told the police she'd been waving the gun at him and refused to let him leave with his belongings. In the record of his phone call to the police, the tenant is heard telling dispatch that his, quote, landlord came in with her gun in her hand, flashing the gun around, and will not let me move my stuff out of the house. Quote, she won't let me out the front door, and I'm not really going to attempt to get out of the front door with her standing in front of it with a gun. The police report quotes Andrew saying, when dispatch asked where the gun was, the man told them it was in Lou's hand. Lou could allegedly be overheard in the recorded call saying that her tenant was lying and that she had put her gun back in her purse. Quote, I have it on video. It's in my purse now, but I have it on video. Or it's in her purse now, but I have it on video, Andrew said. Investigators, however, determined he did not have the video and, Quote, "Probably misoperated the phone." Well, he was buzzed, not drunk. He was tipsy, not drunk. But those buttons are hard to work when you are tipsy, not drunk. Though she reportedly wanted him out, Lou told the police she had not formally begun the process of eviction. Police reported telling her if she wanted him to leave for good, she would need to initiate those proceedings first. Lou is charged with felony menacing and faces 2 misdemeanor counts, including second-degree criminal trespass or tampering and false imprisonment. She could not immediately be released or reach for comment Thursday. Lou appears to have stopped serving on District 49 school board in Colorado after she commented on her personal Facebook page, quoting that failed Austrian painter. That occurred in November 2022, according to Colorado's CBS affiliate KKTV. The message began with this quote, "He alone who owns the youth owns the future." Emphasis original. Quote, "Parents, get involved and fight like your children's lives depend on it because it does," she wrote. Emphasis grammar original. Okay, so, you know, I'm gonna go ahead and offer just some free advice. Generally, I don't offer advice. If you're gonna post any advice, certain Austrian painters with distinct mustaches may not be quote worthy on your personal Facebook page, especially if you're semi-political. I'm throwing that out there. I'm just saying a little bit. Do not quote struggling Austrian painters, okay? In a statement, Lou told KKTV at the time she was not promoting Hitler and was wrongfully accused of attacking and blaming teachers and principals. So, again, do not quote Mr. Hankety Clankety. Uh, it kind of whatever point you have, whatever side you have, it generally just it closes people off to your argument. Just a thought. I said get out, and I mean it. I have been accused of promoting Mr. Hankety Clankety and accusing our wonderful teachers of being, National Socialists, indoctrinators. I don't know how to deal with this kind of gaslighting other than to let this truth stand for itself. Ma'am, ma'am, you quoted Mr. Hankety Clankety, okay? You kinda gave them all the fuel they need to just go after you. I'm simply saying that one does not simp I hate to be Boromir here from Lord of the Rings, but one does simply not quote Mr. Hankety Clankety and get away with it in this political s sphere, okay? That outlet reported on September 7th that a member vacancy in District 49 had appeared on the school's website during the day and that a post was declared officially vacant during the public board meeting that night. Yeah, maybe we should do more research on these school board members. Lou was reportedly planning on running for another board position outside of District 49 when redistricting impacted the region. Ultimately, her eligibility to run due to residency requirement. Uh, Lou ultimately lacked enough signatures to get on the ballot for a different district. I mean, who wouldn't wanna sign a petition for this woman to get on the school board? Welcome, Peace Peony. Yeah, so again, just general life advice, do not quote Mr. Hankety Clankety, okay? It never works out well, it never makes your point better. It simply just never does. Don't do it. Even ironically. In weirder news, I know, weirder, customs officials seized giraffe poop from traveler at Minnesota airport. You're just as shocked as I am, I have no idea. Customs officials in Minnesota seized a box of giraffe feces from a traveler who arrived from Kenya and said she planned to use the droppings to make a necklace. I'm going to have to reread that sentence. Customs of well, I need to make sure I'm not having a stroke, you guys. Customs officials in Minnesota seized a box of giraffe feces from a traveler who arrived from Kenya and said she was planning to use the droppings to make a necklace. Why 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 are you using poo to make a necklace? Why are you making a poo necklace? Why am I asking did we all really die in 2012 and we are in some sort of weird we have to be in an alternate timeline. Tell me we're in an alternate timeline. It's the only thing that makes Ahsoka make sense. I need this to I need something to make sense. US Customs and Border Protection said the Iowa resident was selected for inspection by agriculture specialists upon arriving at Minneapolis St. Paul International Airport from from a trip from Kenya or to Kenya. Quote, the passenger declared giraffe feces and stated she had obtained the droppings in Kenya and planned to make a necklace, CBP said in a news release. Quote, the passenger also stated in the past she had used moose feces at her home in Iowa. I need receipts. I need this woman's Etsy shop. I need her her custom poo necklaces. I need to see all of these things. I want to I want to I want to see her wearing her shitty necklaces. Oh, dear God. The CBP specialist seized the box and contents were destroyed via steam sterilization. Quote, "There is a real danger with bringing fecal matter into the United States." I'm sorry, but can you imagine having to say this? Said LaFonda Sutton Burke, CBP's Director of Field Operations for the Chicago Field Office. Quote, if this person had entered the US and had not declared these items, there is a high possibility a person could have contracted a disease from this jewelry and developed serious health issues. I want to know where I need to know what she's got some kind of hantavirus from the damn moose poo necklace. I need to know has she done, like, a rat poo necklace? Does she have, like, a Noah's Ark poo necklace? Does she just go around when dogs are doing their thing? Does she have a dog necklace? I need this has raised more questions than it has answered. I have all the questions. CBP says any feces brought to the US by an overseas traveler requires a veterinary services permit. So there you go, guys. If you wanna bring shit into America, you have to get a permit. Mhm. I can't, you guys. And she was so proud. She's like, "Imma make a necklace, a dookie necklace." Mhm. Oh my goodness, I am so good. I am 12 and a half. I am so sorry. In my home state, Indianapolis capture police capture a cheeky monkey that escaped and went on the lam. Um This wasn't my house, so Momo the monkey's taste of freedom is over. The primate spurred an hours-long search on Indianapolis's east side after he escaped Wednesday evening from his owner's property. Why do you have a monkey? I I have several thousand questions. But the male Pattis monkey was finally captured safely on Thursday morning, police said. Momo was captured by the brother of the monkey's owner, the monkey's uncle, if you will. Oh my gosh. I'm having way too much fun with this, and it's terrible. It's hilarious. After the police tracked The primate to the bathroom of a house under construction, said Lieutenant William Carter India of the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. That was more than enough monkey business for us, the department said in a post on X to announce Momo's capture. Carter said the police were called to the city's east side at about 6 p.m. Wednesday on a report of a quote aggressive animal that turned out to be a monkey on the run. After his capture, Momo was taken into the care of Indianapolis's Animal Care Services, which turned him over to the staff at the Indianapolis Zoo for now, said Katie Trenpole, deputy director of Indianapolis Animal Care Services. While a permit is not required in Marion County to own such an animal, she said Momo will remain held under the advice of county prosecutor's office, which will work with animal care services to determine whether Momo will be returned to his owner. Trenpole said Animal Care Services had, quote, dealt with Momo one other time when he escaped in July. Last night, after Momo escaped again, she said his owner was issued a citation because the monkey was, quote, chasing and approaching in an unsafe fashion while on the run in a residential area. Really? I'm gonna have to look those up because I think I need to give my mom a pair too. Hello, Carlene. She said that anyone who had direct contact with Momo during his time on the lam should contact the local health department because of concern about diseases that could be transmitted to human. See, you want 12 monkeys to happen? This is how 12 monkeys happens. You want Brad Pitt and Bruce Willis to end the world? This is how it happens, people. Stop bringing these exotic animals over. Stop bringing poo over. I am y'all just and I have another story just like this. Probably switch that story actually. Okay. In what the actual F news? Louisiana teacher arrested for grape after birthing baby allegedly fathered by one of her students. What the actual these lady teachers needed for the love of all that is holy. They just need to stop. A now former Loranger Louisiana teacher is in custody after giving birth to a baby allegedly fathered by a 17-year-old student. Morgan French, 33, turned herself in on Tuesday and now faces numerous charges, including third-degree rape, oral sexual battery, and 4 counts of felony carnal knowledge of a juvenile. According to WBRZ, the claims made against French date back as far as 2020, when she allegedly began grooming the student when he was a student at Ranger Middle School. Middle school? What is Snake Island? Just Snake Island or allegedly trebuchet into the sun? I just cannot. Allegedly. Her conduct continued when the student moved to Loranger High School, thanks to the fact that the two institutions share a campus. The allegations were first reported on September 24th, and 4 days later, French resigned. Quote, "We have just learned of the arrest of former" oh, for the love of God. Tangapanoa? Look, T parish teacher Morgan French, Superintendent Melissa Stilley said in a statement, quote, "Although personnel and student matters are confidential and the specifics of such matters may not be discussed, student safety and proper conduct of school district employees are priority. Neither the board nor this office will tolerate employee behaviors which crosses the line in areas such as proper professional relationships between educators and students. No bond has been set for French, though she is expected to be here before a judge on Thursday. While she was in jail, authorities will perform a DNA test to verify that the child belongs to the student in question. Quote, sex education was taken literally at this school, attorney George Tucker said. Quote, there is a child born. It's not confirmed that it's my client's child, but it's confirmed it's a African American child. I think the sheriff's office has stepped up, and I don't think I don't know if they've made contact or if it became clear that contact needed to be made, he continued. The family is happy whether it's a safety field goal or touchdown. Okay, I have no idea. That's a little bit non sequitur-ish. But yeah, this teacher is awful. Uh, in other news, well, Commander Biden is no longer at the White House. He's also having a bad puppy day, apparently. President Joe Biden's dog, Commander, is not presently on the White House campus following a series of biting incidents involving the White House staff and U.S. Secret Service officers, a spokesperson for First Lady Jill Biden said Wednesday. Elizabeth Alexander, the First Lady's communication director, said Biden and his wife care deeply about the safety of White House staff and those who protect them every day. Ma'am, no, you don't. This is the second daggone dog that's been on a biting spree. I mean, for the love of all that is Cheetos, I mean, didn't the first dog you had to be sent away for special training because they were a biter? Wasn't it Major, and now Commander is also a biter? Maybe maybe a cat, okay? Or maybe no aminals for you. Maybe a stuffed aminal is the way to go for you. Stuffed bears, they're doing a fat bear contest. I don't know why that it's become, this sort of really cool thing to me. I'm totally invested in the Fat Bear Week for some reason. But, I'm just saying maybe a stuffed bear for Joe Biden instead of a real dog for right now. Quote, "They remain grateful for the patience and support of the U.S. Secret Service and all involved, and as they continue to work through solutions," she said in an emailed statement, adding, "Commander is not presently on the White House campus while the next steps are evaluated." Alexander did not say where the dog was sent. The 2-year-old German Shepherd was last seen Saturday on the upper balcony of the White House. The statement came hours after the White House press secretary Karine Jean-Pierre was asked at Wednesday's daily briefing about a fresh allegation that Commander had bitten a White House staffer. Jean-Pierre referred questions to the First Lady's office, which said Commander and Dale Hanley, the head groundskeeper at the White House, were playing and that no skin was broken in an incident that was photographed by a tourist and shared with the news organization, which published the image online. Commander has been involved in a series of biting incidents. Most recently, on September 25th, a uniformed Secret Service officer was bitten at the White House that night and was treated by on site medical personnel, said a USSS Chief of Staff Communications, Anthony Gucciamli. Alexander said at the time that, quote, "The White House can be a stressful environment for family pets," and that the Bidens were continuing to, quote, "work on ways to help Commander handle the often unpredictable nature of the White House grounds." The German Shepherd purebred has bit or otherwise attacked Secret Service personnel at least 10 other times between October 2022 and January, including one incident that required a hospital visit by injured law enforcement officer, according to records from the Department of Homeland Security. Commander is the second of Biden's dogs at the White House that behaved aggressively, including biting Secret Service personnel and White House staff. They eventually sent first dog, a German Shepherd named Major, to live with friends in Delaware after those incidents. The Secret Service provides security protection for the president and his family, and scores of its officers are posted around the executive mansion and in its sprawling grounds. Commander was a gift to Biden in December 2021 from his brother James. The family also has a cat, Willow. I know, I'm in love with the Fat Bear story. I need to go next year. I'm going to the Fat Bear convention. Well, my thing is, look, having Fry, I know exactly how much work it's taking me to try to get him to understand that no applies to him. But if he bites me, it's not an international incident. If one of his dogs bites, I don't know, Netanyahu or, um, that little Weasley guy from Ukrainia, I mean, it could be an international incident. I it just seems like look, I am busy, busy, busy. Yeah, maybe he doesn't have a time to own a dog or train a dog right now. I mean, I know that can be a hard choice, but maybe he just doesn't have the time for it right now. In the last news, because apparently this is an animal-heavy day today, a tourist bitten by a bat feared to have fatal virus. Quote, "I didn't wanna believe it." Now, this is an Australian woman? Okay, an Australian woman fears she has a fatal virus after getting bitten on the head by a bat while on vacation. Yeah, it's it is what it is. Quote, "I didn't wanna believe a bat had bitten me," Sandy Galloway told Cairns Post of the attack, which occurred while she and her husband, Gordon, were sightseeing in Cairns, Queensland. Okay, so she was still in Australia. Look, ma'am, if it was in Australia, everything wants to kill you. The couple was strolling back to their hotel about 11 p.m. after having coffee with friends when suddenly Galloway felt something flapping close to her. Quote, "I felt something flying over my head," said the horrified Aussie, recounting the Dracula evoking encounter. As she is partially blind, Galloway flicked her hand up to prevent the unknown critter from alighting on her. That's when the unthinkable occurred. Next thing I felt this sting, like two pinpricks on my forehead, recalled the grandmother, who initially refused to accept that she'd been bitten by a bat, despite her partner telling her that's what it had transpired. She'd been specifically bitten by a flying fox, the largest species of bat, with a wingspan of up to 5 feet, larger than a red-tailed hawk. Yipes. No. Okay, I wanna go visit Australia to meet all of the nice Australian people that are on here, but y'all, if it isn't the sharks that are jerks, it's the bats that are jerks, and I've heard that kangaroos can be jerks. Nonetheless, Galloway said she convinced herself it was probably a spider, even though deep down she knew it wasn't so. She didn't want to face the reality that she'd been attacked by a flying rodent. As Galloway didn't display any symptoms aside from fatigue and loss of appetite, the senior forgot the ordeal until she returned home and had a talk with her daughter. Quote, "I didn't want to look stupid going to the doctor because I had about the bite because I thought this doesn't happen in real life." No, you're gonna get freaking rabies, and it's closer to your head, so it doesn't have long to travel through your spine, so you don't have a lot of time. Quote, "Y'all, I don't know if I have a mod in here, but there is a really good channel that, goes through, if you're a total science nerd, which I don't know if any of you are, but it's called Roanoke Gaming, and he goes through the actual biological ish things of, like, how zombies would work or anything like that from, like, Resident Evil and video games and all sorts of things. He used to be a molecular biologist and things like that, so it's really cool. He goes super nerdy with horror movies and things like that, and it's if you're a super nerd like me, it's really awesome because he breaks things down and he goes into the nerdiness of if it were real, how it would happen, but he goes into rabies and how, you know, you have to get the series of shots because once it gets to your brain, it's kind of incurable because it bypasses your T cells because it basically turns them off, so it can get right past that blood. He explains it better because he's a science person. He's a sciencey person, and he has all the, cool graphic-y stuff. It's a great channel. He's awesome. I listen to it all the time because I am a giant nerd. Friberto would be the most loved dog in America. He's actually running around right now, so I think he got all of the M&Ms out of him. He We were really lucky he only got, like, a bite full before I crinkle wrappers, but yeah. Let's see. Rationalized the grand. Then I told my daughter, and she told me I could get rabies from it and I could die. While Australian bats don't carry rabies, they transmit Lissa virus, which attacks the nervous system and has had a 100% mortality rate in Australia. Since the virus identification in 1996, there have only been 3 cases of infection in humans, all of whom have died as a result of the ABLV infection after being bitten or scratched by bats, New South Wales Health reported. All 3 cases were in Queensland, while one involved an 8-year-old boy. Alarmed, Galloway booked an appointment with her physician, whereupon she eventually was referred to an infectious disease expert who had to fly vaccines in from Canberra. Look, I am probably butchering this name. I know, where is EU? She's probably doing something awesome about Tupac, right? Galloway reportedly received 5 injections on Wednesday and will require 3 more shots over the coming 3 weeks. If I miss an injection, I have to start the whole process again, lamented Galloway, who had to postpone a cancer scan due to the ordeal. I have to reschedule my MRI because I had a brain tumor and I go for yearly checkups to make sure it's dormant, but I can't do an MRI while taking this course of treatment. In light of the frightening saga, Galloway vows to never return to Cairns unless its flying foxes are relocated and is calling the local government to make that happen. It would be the best thing for Cairns to remove bats from the city and them to an area that's not so crowded. Okay, but aren't the bats just gonna fly back? I mean, I'm not again, this may be my naive Midwestern silliness. One second, Fry would like to go out, so I'm going to be right back. Or come back in. Alrighty. I I mean, again, this might be my humble Midwester thing, but wouldn't they just fly right back to where the city is? Cairns Regional Council, which has been waging an ongoing battle with the flying fruit eaters, says it's currently mulling the appropriate course of action following the rare yet alarming incident. The council is made aware of the significant flying fox roost that's maybe cause conflict between the people and the flying foxes. Signage will be posted around the site to make the community aware, they pledged. Down Under isn't the only place where these winged mammals are spreading the disease. In 2019, a study found that bats and other wild animals are the leading cause of rabies in the US ahead of dogs. S now you have the zoomies. Now would you like to show everyone that you're safe? Would you like were you outside? Oh, you are all wet. That's encouraging. I'm so glad. There's nothing that smells better than a wet puppy. Okay, no, you can alright, thank you. No, I'm super excited too, but not right now. Can I have 5 seconds? Okay, you know what, guys? Um, Mofessional is going to have to wait a little bit. We have a Zoomy Fry, and I think he might be ready for dinner since I did not give him dinner after he got sick. So we are going to try dinner again and see if that goes better this time because I think we are ready to eat. So I will do Mofessional tomorrow morning with a couple less stories for Fry and Mo in the morning. But I'm gonna get off of here. He wants to go to the White House. He's like, "I love to bite and have zoomies. Send me. I look kind of like a German Shepherd." I is definitely not a Pomsky, but I will see you all later. I promise a professional in the morning, but we have the Zoomies, and we would like to do everything, and we are feeling better, and we would like to show everyone. So I will see you in the morning, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe, share with your friends. Thank you so much. Bye, guys. Okay, all